Now, having said that, don't forget that you have a place on this continuum somewhere. And wherever you are, you need to use the methods that are most effective for that place. So don't look ahead and think, okay, well, even though I'm on the far left side of this model, Jeffrey's telling me that it's important to let go of visualization plus emotion to really make it to that non-symbolic piece. So I better let go of that now. Pay attention to where you're at on the model. Match up where you're at on the model to what you're doing. Yeah, you want to move into release as soon as possible. But the reality is, if you're still in the place of visualization plus emotion, or visualization plus emotion plus release on the continuum, the last thing that you really want to be doing is moving to a fully release-based technique. Now, there is one exception to that, and I need to talk about it right now as we're closing down this session. If you're on the far left side of this model, you are nowhere near being able to reliably release. And you'll notice that the graphical bar doesn't extend all the way over to the left. It doesn't seem to suggest that you should be learning and trying to release. So if we go back to the previous graphic, and we see law of attraction, new thought, think and grow rich, etc., that seems to be all that you should be doing here. And that's one exception for what I've got drawn here. Because you should absolutely be working on figuring out what works best for you in these areas. It's an important part of the puzzle. But while you're down here, you should also be working on focusing. You should be trying to get across this dashed line. So just because that release bar doesn't move all the way over to the left, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using that technique of focusing. That first third of the model is sort of an exception. Regardless of where you're at in that first third of the model, you should be always trying to not just improve the visualization plus emotion aspects. You should also be trying to improve and get good at focusing. You've got to start getting to the point where you can release, where you can separate out those emotional charges, where you can leave them in the past, where you can have a goal and genuinely get to the point where you think to yourself, you know, if that happens, great. If that doesn't happen, that's fine too. I'm completely released about it, because that's when it will happen. Let me give you one other thing if you're on that far left side of the model, and it relates to intent. You might also want to always include the idea of this or something better. So if you're getting to the point where you can genuinely start to say to yourself, for maybe the first time on one of your goals, and maybe it's just a little goal that you're able to do this on. You know, you're a long way away maybe from being able to do it on the big stuff, but you're able to do it on a little goal where you're finally to the first point of being able to say, you know, I really just genuinely don't care. If that happens, I'm totally released on that emotionally. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, that's fine too. You might always make sure that your intent includes the notion of what you want or something better. Don't limit yourself to just what you can visualize, especially not when you're in that first third of the model. So place an intent for whatever it is that you want, but also this or something better.